Hey guys, Dan Malone here from MassLive.com alongside, as always, Andrew Sear of the Massachusetts Daily Collegian. We are here at the Mullen Center following another UMass loss here, an 88-77 defeat at the hands of St. Bonaventure, the Minutemen's second Atlantic 10 loss in 3 games to start league play. This one wasn't quite as ugly on the scoreboard as what we saw out in Dayton earlier in the week, but this is a game where Derek Kellogg came out and said that UMass, they just got outplayed. They got outshot considerably at some points. They gave up nearly 60% shooting percentage for the Bonnies in this one. They couldn't get a stop. The Bonnies never went on like a 15-0 scoring run. They didn't have a guy who went out and scored 40 points. But they just kept coming and coming and coming. It was relentless. UMass couldn't get enough stops. They couldn't string enough stops together to kind of make a run in the second half. They got it within 9 kind of late in regulation. But you could kind of just tell, and I think Derek was kind of resigned to this too, that it just wasn't happening today. So much went well for St. Bonaventure. Like I said, they just got flat out outplayed.
It was, and in the first half, I think when I personally noticed the turning difference was Trey Davis came down with that ankle injury. He landed on the Bonnie's foot. UMass missed their
got a little hushed in here.
Yeah, it did. It was really quiet. UMass actually missed their next 8 shots after that.
Yeah.
They had a 5-point lead at that point.
Yeah,
Excuse me, they had a 3-point lead at that point. Bonnie's then countered, leading by 5 at the halftime. Jalen Adams, who I thought was terrific for St. Bonaventure.
He's one of the best young players in the league.
Yeah,
for sure.
He had a pair of free throws in that last minute of the first half, then had that 3 that bounced all around, and then St. Bonaventure's went on a 9-1 run to start the second half. And it just seemed like from that point, just UMass wasn't itself.
Yeah.
Dante Clark was forcing a lot of shots at that point when Davis went down. Davis finished 2 of 12, 1 for 8 from 3.
Yeah, he kind of padded his numbers at the end there, but he was a non-factor.
Yeah,
Even though, he was hurt. He was obviously not 100%, but he came back, and he just wasn't the same guy.
Yeah, and I think that you saw that when he's not 100%, you see how the rest of the team kind of reacts. They were forcing a lot of shots. 4 of 22 from 3. I don't care who you have on your team, who you're playing. You're not going to win very many games.
And that comes after a 3 of 15 performance on Wednesday against Dayton. So again, we see this team, when they can't make threes consistently, how do they win games? It's something that's plagued them, that's going to continue to plague them moving forward.
Exactly. And also you saw a couple times, I think there were a couple back-to-back and 1 possessions, and then St. Bonaventure just ran right back and buried a 3-pointer. So it seemed like no matter what UMass was trying to do, no matter what Kellogg was trying to do, Kellogg even got a technical, trying to fire up the team a little bit.
Took the coat off.
He got
fired up.
Yeah.
He was halfway across the court over here.
Yeah, Davis, I thought Davis did an excellent job holding Kellogg back. He stepped between him and the refs, and something you like to see out of your senior leader. But just wasn't UMass's game today. St. Bonaventure, they shot the ball very well throughout the entirety of the game. And their coach, Mark Schmidt, Mike Schmidt, third baseman for the Phillies.
Not the same guy.
Yeah, not the same guy. He even said that, as good as we were offensively in this league, you need to be able to defend to win games. And I think that's going to hold true throughout the course of the regular season. But like I mentioned, UMass just couldn't do anything right. It just wasn't their night tonight. And you saw he tried to mix things up with the lineup even a little bit. Tyler Bergantino
got the start.
His
first start. He played 95 games over 3 years for UMass, and he made his first start tonight. And he comes right out and scores a couple buckets early.
He does, and you saw he had that nice little turnaround jumper, which I don't think any of us knew he had in his repertoire.
No, he had the bailout trade at the end of a possession. But he scored the first 5 points of the second half for UMass, which I wrote. That's good for him. That's not a good sign for UMass.
Yeah.
When you're relying on Tyler Bergantino to do your scoring. Who knows, if this is a permanent move. Obviously, Sean Holloway and Malik Hines didn't play at all. That was kind of a message I think Derek wanted to send. He said it was a mixture of wanting to reward Bergantino, wanting to send a message, and also the Bonnies ran with some smaller lineups. So we're going to see those guys again. They're really important to the future of the program. So it's not like they're super in the doghouse, so we're never going to see them again.
They are, but at the same time, I think that when you get to conference play, every coach normally shortens his rotation and shortens his bench a little bit.
What they're comfortable with.
So I think that I do expect them to play more throughout the season, but I'm interested to see how their minutes kind of lined up. Whether he'll stick back with Rashard in the starting lineup, because like Derek said, they're not coming along as quickly as I think that both them and the Minutemen wanted them to. So I think that moving forward, if they don't continue to perform, they obviously didn't play at all, and I think they're going to have to just based on the minutes they have and the guys inside they have playing. But if they don't continue to continue to grow, this move could be a move that, you know, Kellogg might show on his leash a little bit and not give him as many minutes as you saw in non-conference play.
Well, I mean, it's not going to help them win games.
No, not at all.
Tyler Bergantino's he's a piece.
He's an energy guy. He's an energy guy off the bench.
It comes down to the backcourt, and this is another night where UMass got outplayed in the backcourt. Dante Clark had 25 points. A lot of that was when they were trying to come back. Trey Davis had an off night. Jabari Hines, I mean, he had 10 points, but there wasn't any moment where you're like, oh yeah, Jabari's taking over this game. He hasn't been the same guy that we saw earlier in the season. And then Jay Adams, like you mentioned, he had 24 and 8 tonight. He's a great player. Marcus Posley didn't even have to have a great night. He still scored 15 points. Derek said to these guys after the Dayton game, you need to be better defensively, and we didn't see it. And that's going to continue to kill this team in a league where guard play rules. The Atlantic 10 is a guard league. UMass has the horses to kind of go out and score, but if they're going to shoot like this, if they're going to let teams march up and down the court and score like this, it's going to be tough sledding for them. And you know, they're barely hovering above 500 at this point. That's after a 4-0 start, 5-1. So I think we're continuing to learn that this team can get way too one-dimensional at times, which I think there are a lot of fans out there probably nodding their heads. So, you know, we'll see how they go. You know, they've got George Washington, another tough team, coming in here on Tuesday. So, you know, a lot to correct, and another night that I think a lot of Minutemen fans want to forget. But Sear, thanks for coming on the video.
No problem.
And
Thank you.
We'll catch you next week.
Tuesday.
You bet. Thank you.